Wallet of Satoshi is one of the simplest and widest used Bitcoin Lightning wallets on the planet. However, using it has always had the trade-off of giving up custody, aka Wallet of Satoshi holds your Bitcoin for you. Well, with their latest update, they have rolled out self-custody, so you have control of your coins. Today, we're going to walk through how to set up and use all the features of Wallet of Satoshi, including self-custody. This video is for beginners and veterans alike. I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session. For those newcomers that are joining the channel or checking out a tutorial like this for the first time, today we're going to be walking through how to set up and use a Bitcoin Lightning wallet. When I say Lightning, it is just a faster and cheaper way of utilizing Bitcoin. Now, the wallet in question that we're going to be tinkering with today, as I mentioned, is Wallet of Satoshi, one of the most widely used wallets on the planet. And as I said in the intro, the trade-off here beforehand was that you were giving up custody. You were trusting Wallet of Satoshi to hold your Bitcoin for you and to allow you to use it. However, they have rolled out a new feature which allows you to switch between custodied, meaning they hold your Bitcoin for you, to self-custody, where you have control of the keys to your money. Now, there are some nuances there, and we'll go through that as we go. But what do you need to know in order to successfully navigate the tutorial here? Well, not too much. We're going to download and utilize Wallet of Satoshi from scratch. It is on iOS and Google Play. We are going to fund the wallet in a variety of different ways. One of the ways is I'm going to show just pulling directly from an exchange. And so in the demo, I'm going to be using Bitcoin Well, which is in Canada and the US. They'll be linked down below. But if you have a different exchange, depending on the settings and the features that with the exchange that you're using, you will be able to load your wallet in a couple of different ways. I'm also going to practice sending to and from different types of wallets, and the demo here will use something called CoinOS, which is another wallet that I have done tutorials on as well, and I'll link that down below. But outside of that, really, all you need to know is how do you obtain Bitcoin, where you're going to get it locally. So again, Bitcoin Well is an option, but look locally to see what is available to you. For the more technical in the bunch that are curious about the self-custody and how it works, stick around towards the end of the video because I will be explaining in the back end what is actually happening, how is it working that you are able to obtain self-custody, and what are the technical nuances of exactly how that works. But without further ado, we're going to jump to the phone. We're going to look at a freshly installed copy of Wallet of Satoshi and how to get set up. All right, so right off the hop, I already have downloaded Wallet of Satoshi here, and I've got the other applications that I'm going to be utilizing alongside of it. But let's open up Wallet of Satoshi for the first time. Just a side note, I am on Android. If you're on iOS, there may be some slight differences, but not too much when it comes to any variances between the two platforms. So it will boot up right away. I have opened the app once before, and it does ask if you would like to receive notifications, which I've allowed for. But besides that, it will pretty much dump you right into the main screen. And your wallet is already set up and functioning in custodial mode. That means you will default to allowing Wallet of Satoshi to hold your funds for you. If you are using small amounts, a few hundred sats, minuscule amounts of Bitcoin, then yeah, that's fine for a default if you're experimenting and learning. But if you start to have a sizable amount of Bitcoin in your wallet, then you would want to be looking at self-custody. And given the ease of self-custody, there's definitely a major benefit to doing so. And we'll show how to do that momentarily. So from the main screen here, what do we have in front of us? Well, we have a denomination of how much money is in the wallet in sats. If you're unfamiliar with sats, there are 100 million sats in one Bitcoin. Most people nowadays will refer to sats instead of full Bitcoin because a full Bitcoin is such a large number. Okay. Down below, you have the amount of Bitcoin represented in dollars. How much is the Bitcoin in your wallet currently worth in your local currency, which you can change if you like. Down below, pretty self-explanatory. Receive Bitcoin or send Bitcoin. Up top, you have a side menu here. We'll get into some of these in a moment. And then you have this little icon here. It's like an avatar for yourself. And before we do anything, we're going to want to address this because this will be your setup and your backup. So I'm going to click on that now. And we see the option down below. It's in red. It says login/register. I'm going to click on that. Now it says, please log in to guarantee your Bitcoin, use your account on multiple devices, and access special features. So you can technically use this wallet without backing it up, but I wouldn't advise that, okay? Again, it is still custodial right now, but all it is putting in a simple email so that if you delete the app or if you migrate to a different phone, you just type in your email again, you'll be able to recover. So I'm going to put in an email here, and I'll just use one of the ones I have that I haven't used yet. And then I'll hit OK. And so this says, hey, check your email. We've sent 2 random words to your email, and these will be used to confirm your the ownership of said email. Okay. And so I do have an email here, and it shows me 2 words that say Charles Range. So I'm going to type those in. Range. And it was lowercase, so I'll just change that. And I'll hit OK. And there we go. Look, green check mark up in the top right as it fades away. So that means we are now logged in and also backed up. So if I were to move to a different phone, I would simply go to the top right. I would click down here where it says login. It no longer says that. It shows the email instead. And then it would again send me 2 random words, and I would be able to log in to my account. And that is how you access it. So we are all logged in now. Let's again just take a quick look through the menu here on the side and get our bearings, and then we can start using the wallet. So top right, they do have a built-in buy and sell Bitcoin. I typically don't use that. Sometimes the fees can be a little high, but if this is your only option, then have at her. You can paste in anything that you've copied. So this might be like Bitcoin addresses to send to, so on and so forth. This is where you would change your currency. Currently, it's set to USD. I'll just leave that be, but they have a lot of currency options. You can change your language. You can find merchants and ATMs. So can you buy Bitcoin near you? Can you spend Bitcoin near you? This will bring up a little map. You can add contacts. So there are these things called lightning addresses, which allow you to have something that looks like an email address, and you can save people's lightning addresses here so you can easily send them money if you do so frequently. There's support here. There's some other settings, and then down below we see switch to self-custody. We'll be tackling that in a little bit. And then point of sale, we'll also be tackling that in a little bit. In terms of settings, any additional things here, you can display in full Bitcoin or in sats. I prefer sats. I like seeing whole numbers instead of decimals. You can add a biometric or PIN when paying. You can also blank out the account balance in case you don't want somebody peeking over your shoulder. You can go light or dark mode. I prefer dark. You can auto pay for small amounts. So say you want to, if you have less than $1 or something like that, you want it to just auto pay. You can use NFC for NFC enabled Bitcoin terminals. There is a coming Square point of sale connection. And then, you can also save a CSV file of your entire transaction history. You can log out and clear all local data from the settings. So lots of little things there, but more or less, Alt Wallet is set up by simply downloading it, putting in our email, and typing in the 2 words that are emailed to us. Let's play around with custodial mode, and then we'll check out more after. All right, so we're going to dive into receiving Bitcoin into Wallet of Satoshi. We're going to do this a couple different ways. We're going to purchase some Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well and have it sent directly to our wallet. We're also going to do a test of somebody sending to us from their own Lightning wallet, which really it'll just be me sending from wallet to wallet, but the point will still be made. So let's go back into Wallet of Satoshi and let's hit receive and see the different ways that we can receive Bitcoin. And I'll explain them as we go. So number one, we have this QR code and a little bit of text down below. These are the same information represented in different ways. Anybody could scan this QR code, and if they're using a Lightning wallet, would be able to send me any amount of Bitcoin that they please. Similarly, down below, we have something that says Likeable Mexico 22 at walletofsatoshi.com. This is just a randomly generated Lightning wallet that is now specific to me. And if I give that information to anybody and they have a Lightning wallet, they will be able to utilize it to send me any amount of Bitcoin that they please, just like an email address for contact and communication. I can hit the copy button and share that to anybody. So this is for, both of these things are for indiscriminate amounts. Just, hey, if you want to send me a payment, send it here. However, you can create invoices. So down below, you see a little pencil and it says amount/note. And this allows me to type in a specific amount of sats, or if I hit the arrows here, a specific number of dollars. And I can also add a little note. So if somebody were to scan or paste in the information, it might say like for Ben or whatever that may be. So I can also do those things. So I'll X out of that. I'll hit receive one more time. So we're back to our regular Lightning address. Again, we can add an amount, which turns it into a specific invoice. And then down below, there's one other option. There's a Bitcoin B. Right now, there's a lightning bolt that is highlighted. All of this deals with Lightning, which, as I said before, is faster and cheaper. But if I click on the Bitcoin B, it shows me what is known as a regular Bitcoin address, or an on-chain Bitcoin address. Now, when you receive on-chain Bitcoin by somebody either scanning your QR code or by copy and pasting this Bitcoin address here and sending it to somebody, it will take a little bit of time to confirm. On average, regular Bitcoin transactions settle in 10 minutes, as long as the appropriate fee is attached. And it's important to note also, when you receive on-chain Bitcoin to your Bitcoin address here in Wallet of Satoshi, and then they do the necessary work in the back end to make it accessible via the Lightning Network in your wallet, they charge a fee. And that fee to receive on-chain is 1.95%. So you're getting close to 2% to receive an on-chain Bitcoin transaction. But it will be converted and instantly available via Lightning. And you can, of course, afterwards send to regular Bitcoin addresses too. We'll go over the fees in depth later on. Nonetheless, 3 ways to receive. Just to reiterate, your Lightning address. It's a QR code. It's also, it looks like an email address as well that is randomly generated. You can hit the amount/note, and you can specify a certain amount of dollars or sats, and it's a QR code. It'll also be a string of digits that you can copy and paste to somebody. And then finally, you have your Bitcoin address. If you click on the Bitcoin B, and that is for on-chain payments. Maybe if somebody doesn't have a Lightning wallet and they want to send you money, or your exchange doesn't have Lightning functionality, this would be the route that you go. So with that, let's receive every way that I have described. We're going to start here, and we're going to copy our Lightning address. So I'm on the receive screen, and we're going to receive to our Lightning address right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out of this application. We're going to go into Bitcoin Well. Again, these are guys in Canada and the US that I use frequently, and I quite like them. So we'll just jump ahead to me having logged in. Okay, so here we are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the menu here. So here on Bitcoin Well, I can go to my account and I can go to my wallets and I can add a wallet. So I've used a bunch of different wallets here, but I'm going to add a new one. You can see my other Wallet of Satoshi is here, but I'll create a new one. So we'll say Wallet of Satoshi tutorial. And then I'm going to paste in my Likeable Mexico 22, my Lightning address, and I'm going to hit add. I want to change it to the new wallet that I've just confirmed. So it says, hey, this, if you send money or an Interact e-transfer here, then we'll send Bitcoin to your Wallet of Satoshi tutorial wallet that you've just added. So pretty much at this point, all I need to do is go into my banking app and send any amount of dollars to the following Interact e-transfer recipient. And this will be a banking thing. If you're in the US, it's going to be a different type of transfer, an ACH payment, something like that. But the point is, once the money arrives, they will send to the Lightning address that you have designated. Now, as an aside, I will say that you can also send to a Bitcoin address. So we saw on the previous screen, if your exchange does not have Lightning and can't send to Lightning addresses, you can always go and copy your regular Bitcoin address. But do remember, it will incur that fee once it lands. Either way, I'm going to go do my banking thing off screen, and we'll be back once we see the money pop into a Wallet of Satoshi. All right, so off screen, I did my e-transfer, and it says here in the app, e-transfer detected. It's there, and your Bitcoin is on the way. And I can hit close, and that's great. And so what I would do is I would navigate back to Wallet of Satoshi. I don't need to have my receive screen, and lo and behold, my money is already there. That literally took like a minute. So super awesome there. Already in my account. Good to go. And let's just take a look at how the screen has changed here. So we can see we have 31,817 sats, which is around 35 American dollars. It shows here, if I click on, this is my transaction history here. If I click there, it says this happened at this time, the amount in sats, the amount in dollars roughly. It was a Lightning payment. It is paid. And I didn't have to cover any fees there. It was instant and free, and it was paid to my my Lightning address. So it gives us all the little details about our transaction. So now I have funds in my wallet. I got it seamlessly from exchange to Wallet of Satoshi in no time at all. Let's take a look at some more ways to receive Bitcoin. Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions. CoinKite has been in the game for years, creating hands down the best and most secure hardware when it comes to securing your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and my daily driver, and it's ideal for newcomers and advanced users alike. The Tap Signer gives you a low-cost, user-friendly option for those just getting started or for convenience when traveling. You can head to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for discounts, or simply scan the QR code on the screen to get started right away. So up next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit receive. And this time, instead of utilizing my Lightning address, I want to create an invoice. We're going to do a Lightning invoice, meaning I want a specific amount of Bitcoin that I'm going to receive. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit the amount/note, and we'll type it in. We can either do in dollars or in sats. So just for familiarity, we'll say in dollars. Let's say I wanted to receive $3 from somebody. Automatically, it tells me this is how many sats that is. Great. I don't need to worry about anything else there. And then I'll just put thanks as the note. And then I'm going to hit generate invoice. So when I hit that button, generate invoice, what it does is it changes the QR code here. So if anybody scans that from their phone with a Lightning wallet, it will not only tell them where to send money, but it will tell them exactly how much, and it'll tee that up for them so that all they have to do is hit the send button. However, if I'm not with somebody and they're not able to scan my phone, I can hit copy It's going to copy this big string of digits, and I can text it to them or however, whatever I want, email, messenger, whatever I do to get it to them. They just need the string that I copied. So now what I can do after having copied that is let's pretend we're now the sender. So I'm going to open up another Lightning wallet that I have. This is called a CoinOS. And as a sender, I'm going to be hitting my send button. I'm going to paste in what's on the clipboard, and it lets us know, hey, this is how much you're sending. This many sats, this many dollars. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit send. And I just got a notification. My phone did buzz there. So that shows as sent. And we'll jump back here. And there we go. There's our receive screen. And we see it pop in. So now we see that we see the incoming transaction, the latest one. If I want to see both, I can hit the history button. And then all of my previous transactions, I'd be able to scroll if there were even more. But here we go. 2 payments coming into the wallet. Both via Lightning, one with Lightning address and one with an invoice with a specific amount. Finally, we're going to jump to an on-chain payment. Okay, so to receive Bitcoin as a regular Bitcoin payment or an on-chain payment, I'm going to go to receive. We're going to now hit the Bitcoin B in the bottom. And then we will, again, somebody could scan the QR code, or I can simply copy the Bitcoin address here. So that's what I've done. I'm going to jump over to another wallet that I have on my desktop. Now, this one looks a lot scarier than the one we're dealing with. If you're new to Bitcoin, you're probably looking at this going, oh God, that looks pretty intimidating. It's not that bad. I encourage you to always dive in and take a look at new things. I will link a tutorial to Sparrow Wallet down below, but I'm not going to be explaining too much about it right now. I don't want to overwhelm you here. But nonetheless, I'm going to hit the send button. I'm going to paste in the address that I just copied. So let's just double check it. Ends in XEEP BC1QM at the beginning. That looks right to me. Perfect. And then we'll just put a little note for ourselves where we sent. Okay, great. So at this point, I'm going to send over, let's see here. This is an on-chain payment. So typically, Lightning payments are good for small amounts, whereas regular on-chain payments, because a little bit slower, a little bit more expensive to send, you want to send larger amounts usually. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send 25,000 sats. It's about $27. Still kind of a lower-ish amount for on-chain, but that's okay. And then I can adjust my fee. And I'll just leave it as such, and we'll send it off. Again, I'm glossing over a lot of stuff here. Some Bitcoin wallets aren't as complicated as this, but nonetheless, all you need to know is that I've just sent a transaction for around 25,000 sats over to Wallet of Satoshi. And here we are. So what will happen with this on-chain payment is going to be a little bit different than before. It'll take a second to show up. And once it shows up, it won't be fully available to spend yet because it takes some time to fully settle. It takes some time to be spendable and be known as confirmed. So we'll show it when it pops up initially, and then we'll show what it looks like when it is fully confirmed. So here's our notification that money is on the way. And what we see is payment received. We have a flashing B beside it. And up above our balance, which hasn't changed yet, it says 24,512 sats on the way. And there's a question mark there. I can click on that. It says you're receiving a Bitcoin payment. It's on the way and just needs to be confirmed. Most payments confirm within an hour, but sometimes it can take longer. If it's delayed, the sender may be able to speed it up. So in my experience, it hasn't taken an hour on average. I think they're just saying that to kind of hedge their bets so they don't get a bunch of support tickets of people asking, why is this taking, only longer than 10 minutes? So yeah, either way, typically you'll see it come through quicker than that. We'll jump ahead to when it does confirm. But before we do, again, we can click and get all of the details of all of that here. And it says here, it says credit. It's on chain. And right now it just says like, hey, we're waiting for it to confirm. It's pending. It shows that we did pay a fee here, a conversion fee, because that came out of the total amount. They're converting it and putting it available on Lightning for us. And for that, they do charge a fee. Either way, we'll jump ahead to when it's done. All right. And I was correct. It was maybe about 10 minutes before it confirmed. You can see payment 11 minutes ago. My balance is now adjusted. The green text above with incoming is gone. And if I click on the payment itself, it now says paid. And so we now have received 3 ways: via Lightning address, Lightning invoice, and on-chain Bitcoin payment. And now we can check out how to send Bitcoin to others. So we're going to start by sending, like we did with receiving, to a Lightning address. And so what I'll do is I'll open up CoinOS here. And if I hit receive, I do have a Lightning address for this wallet as well. So I can simply copy that and pop back into Wallet of Satoshi. Right away, it does see that I do have something on my clipboard. I can use it and click that button. But if I don't do that in time, then we can do it the default way. We can go down to send in the bottom right. It asks if we want to use our camera. I'll say while using the app is fine. What this does is if there's a QR code, I can scan it. We will test that in a moment. And I'll hit paste. It says Lightning address is going to BTC sessions at coinos.io. How much do you want to send? And instead of doing dollars, I'll hit the 2 little arrows and I'll type in an amount of sats. So let's say 250 sats, which is around 28 cents, and I'll hit send. So we get this little, hey, on the way. And if I want, I can hit add contact, and I'll just we'll take a look at this later, but just so you know, if you send to a Lightning address, it gives you the option to add the contact as you send it. I'll hit OK, and we'll take a look at that momentarily. Either way, I've just sent a payment. It's listed down below in my history. I can take a look at it. Hey, 250 sats, around 28 cents, Lightning Network paid, no fees for that. Okay, fantastic. Let's take a look over at CoinOS, and I should be able to go to my home screen and let's see actually we'll go up to our transaction history, and there's 250 sats that just came in. There we go. No fee, nothing like that. There we go. So that was easy. That's sending to a Lightning address, no problem at all. Let's now take a look at sending to a Lightning invoice. So I'm actually going to use a browser plugin for this one. It's called Alby Hub. It's actually linked to a Lightning node. Again, stuff a little bit more complex than I'm going to get to in this video, but I'm creating an invoice for 500 sats. So I'm going to hit that here. And it should bring me up a QR code that I should be able to click on. So what I'm going to do in my Wallet of Satoshi is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit send, which will open up my camera, and I'll scan the QR code that was on my screen. So I'm just scanning now. And it fills in all the necessary information, 500 sats. This is where it's going. Do you want to send it? I'm going to go ahead. I can add a note just for my own records. I'm going to leave that for now. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to hit send, and it should send off. And it says sent. And there we go. Payment received over on the other end. So no problems there either. Now, when I click here, there was a small fee paid, but Lightning fees are often quite small. So 1 sat. So that's a fraction of a penny that I sent that transaction for. So not a big deal there. And really, it just has to do with how your payment gets routed through the network. But fees are very, very minimal when it comes to Lightning, and on-chain can vary. And so that's what we're going to take a look at next. So once again, I'm going to hit the send button. And this time, instead of typing anything in or pasting anything, we're going to scan on the computer here. I've got a regular on-chain Bitcoin address that I'll just scan with the phone. And if I jump back, we can see I need to enter an amount. How much do I want to send? And so I would like to, and I'll choose the dollar amount here. And please do make note of the fees here. They're definitely nothing to sneeze at. So this is best meant for larger payments. And so usually how I would approach this is, if you build up a balance and maybe there's a few $100 in there and or more, and you're concerned about having that in a custodial wallet, then you would send it out to one of your own on-chain wallets or for long-term savings, or however you'd like to do it. But this fee is going to take a bite of your money. So what is that right now? Geez, let's see. I'm actually kind of curious what that would be. Yeah, so 7,000 sats is around $8. So if I'm not mistaken, they're saying that it would cost $8 in fees. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty rough. I'm going to, yeah, and it gives me a warning, high fee compared to the amount. So even if I change that, like, that's still not good. So $25. What Wallet of Satoshi wants to charge is basically around $8. That's the total. 1.95% plus a fixed fee that they charge. And so they're saying that the total there is 7,400 sats roughly. So I'm sending 22,000 sats and they're charging another 7,400. Now, I'm just going to kind of show that we got to this screen. I'm actually not going to send this because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to pay, an $8 fee on a small transaction. So, but I could hit send here, and what would happen is it would jump over and it would land here in my tutorial wallet. It's important to note that these fees are not reflective of regular Bitcoin fees. This is a service fee for utilizing Wallet of Satoshi's infrastructure, because when you're sending on chain, they have to do work and adjust their Lightning channels and all of the infrastructure in the back end that makes the Lightning part of it so cheap, fast, and convenient. So this is where you're going to end up getting dinged, and it really only makes sense if you build up a balance and then you want to send it to your long-term savings. Maybe you're okay eating an $8 fee if you're sending $1,000 into your long-term savings. So just be aware of how these fees pan out. Very basically next to no fees or no fees at all when sending Lightning. But when sending and receiving on-chain, it's going to be close to 2% for receiving. And for sending, it's going to be 2% plus their fixed fee as well. And so, yeah, that's looking like around $8 for this particular transaction. That will change the larger the transaction, because 2% of $25 versus $1,000 is going to be very different too. So nonetheless, we get the point. I'm going to cancel that because I don't feel like eating that fee right now. But now you know. It will work. You can send it, but you do need to be cognizant of the costs. Now, I wanted to talk about getting a custom Lightning address in Wallet of Satoshi. So if I hit receive here, again, we've seen this likable Mexico 22 that we had, but there is a little edit button beside it. And once you meet certain thresholds within the wallet in terms of number of transactions, amount transacted, and having done on-chain, they give you the option to go ahead and create a custom Lightning address. Now, I'll just show the thresholds that are required here. So I just hit the edit button, and you need to do the 3 steps. You need to log in and register, so to have an email address. You need to send or receive Lightning a total of 10 times. I've done 4 transactions so far, and so there we go. So 4 Lightning transactions specifically. And then we need to send or receive Bitcoin on chain. And we need to have a total of 100,000 sats transacted that way. We've only done 25,000 roughly. And so as you hit those thresholds, then you get to choose your new address, whatever you like, at walletofsatoshi.com, as long as it's not already taken. So I'll quickly show you what that looks like on my other actual Wallet of Satoshi that I have. And so just plugging in my regular phone, you can see I've been able to customize BTC sessions at walletofsatoshi.com, which is much easier to remember and share with other people. So again, if you're using this wallet in particular, after a while, you have that option. Now, earlier when we sent to a Lightning address, it gave an option to add contacts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the contacts section. Top right, we go to the little sandwich board there, and then we have an option that says contacts. And in there, we can see the address that we previously sent to. So I just labeled it as CoinOS, and it's BTC sessions at coinos.io. I can edit it or I can delete it. I also have the option to add a contact. So this is where I could put in a different one. So my actual Wallet of Satoshi, maybe, we'll just call it my Wallet of Satoshi and BTC sessions at walletofsatoshi.com. And I can hit OK, and that will be added there. Now, if I do want to send to anybody in my contacts, I can simply click on it, and then it'll give me options to send. So maybe I want to send, $1, and I can, yeah, that looks good there. I hit send, and off it goes. Now, my other phone isn't plugged in, but I can assure you I just got a notification that I received some money. And that's as simple as it is with the contacts. So nice, convenient way to be able to add anybody's Lightning address here in Wallet of Satoshi. Now, one other cool feature here in Wallet of Satoshi is if you go to the top right, there is something down at the bottom or close to the bottom that says point of sale. And this is super easy option for those of you that might have brick and mortar businesses or partake in markets and sell goods and want to accept Bitcoin in a simple way. If you click this, it brings up a really simple keypad. You can add items. You can do a whole bunch of different things, but it's really easy. You just type in what do you want to charge, 50 cents, whatever it is. You hit charge, and it's going to bring up a QR code that people can scan and pay. So again, if I've got my other wallet here and I go ahead and I scan it and I send to it, it's just a nice simple screen, off it goes, and we receive a payment. When it comes to items, again, if you want to add a new item, you can say whatever it is, widget, and it's $1, and we hit OK. So that adds an item here that you can edit later if you want, but then you can simply tap the item and add it. And if you have multiples, you can tap it multiple times. Either way, you can then hit charge for the items that were purchased. Same idea, it brings up a QR code and somebody can scan and pay. So nice and easy way to do that. They also have a Wallet of Satoshi point of sale app. And what this allows you to do is use your same Lightning address to connect it and put that on, say, like an iPad or something, or a tablet that's near the front till. And that wallet will have no ability to spend, but it will be able to receive to your Lightning address and have that simple keypad that I just showed you. And so this allows you to have staff that utilize the point of sale and accept Lightning payments without them being able to pull money out of the wallet. So I think that's a great option, just nice and simple for a point of sale terminal for those just dipping their toes into Bitcoin. Looking for a simple and secure way to manage your Bitcoin on mobile? Aqua Wallet has you covered. It's user-friendly and puts you in full control of your Bitcoin with secure self-custody. Aqua also supports Lightning and Liquid Network, making fast, cheap Bitcoin payments and asset transfers easier than ever. Plus, it even supports stablecoins, giving you ultimate flexibility. Built on open source code, Aqua is transparent, trustworthy, and perfect for beginner and pros alike. Ready to upgrade your Bitcoin experience? Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen now to download Aqua Wallet today. Debify is the best and easiest way to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Funds are held in a multi-sig escrow where you hold a key, and the platform allows for excellent hardware like the Cold Card Mark IV and the Q. You have access to flexible conditions, the best rates, and institutional-grade liquidity. If you're looking to make use of your capital, don't sell your Bitcoin, borrow against it. You can head over to debify.com to check them out, or simply scan the QR code on the screen. Securing your Bitcoin doesn't have to be complicated or invasive. With Nunchuck's Honey Badger plan, you get state-of-the-art multi-sig with built-in inheritance planning and no KYC required. Nunchuck is trusted by users to secure billions of dollars in Bitcoin. The Honey Badger plan offers 204 assisted multisig, guiding you step-by-step on mobile or desktop. It works seamlessly with hardware wallets like TapSigner, Cold Card, Jade, and plenty of others, so you're always in control. Plus, with non-KYC inheritance planning, you can ensure your Bitcoin goes to your loved ones. No private info needed. Take control of your Bitcoin today. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen to check out the Honey Badger plan. All right, the time has come to dive into self-custody mode. And what I'll say about this is when you're teaching new people about Bitcoin, it can be very useful to have them set up very quickly and experience transactions very simply without too much extra effort by using something like Wallet of Satoshi. The problem before was that there was no easy path to then get them to self-custody. And you would, if you wanted to take them down that path, it would later be saying, hey, you know that wallet I gave you first? Well, now we need to switch to a different one. Well, that may not be the case now, because with the new self-custody option, you can stay with a familiar interface and just swap over. And so let's take a look at what that looks like. We're going to go to the top right sandwich board, and we're going to go down to switch to self-custody. So I'm going to click on that now. Now it says, if you'd like to switch to self-custody mode, make sure you still have access to the email that you used. This is required to recover your wallet later. You can switch back at any time. They're talking about the custodial wallet that we've been using right now. This is going to be creating a new wallet in the app, and we can swap back and forth between them if we like. So I'm going to say, I understand, I'll be responsible, and I'm going to hit switch to self-custody. So this gives us the option to create a new wallet or restore an existing wallet. So we're starting to now take more personal responsibility for our money and not have to put trust in Wallet of Satoshi to explicitly hold our money for us. So we're going to hit create a new wallet. So at this point, pretty much it looks the same as when we set up the initial Wallet of Satoshi. There's one little difference and an important step that we need to do in order to be safe here. The important concept to know is that when you have a Bitcoin wallet and it is self-custody, the money is not in the wallet. The money exists on the global ledger of who owns what, also known as the Bitcoin blockchain or the Bitcoin time chain. And so what you actually hold in your wallet is the keys to your money. It allows you to unlock the money that you own and move it wherever you like. And only somebody with those keys can move the money. That's why you have to be careful with your keys as well and not share them with other people. If people see the information of what your keys are, they can also spend your money. And so up top, we see a picture of a keychain and it says backup wallet. I'm going to click on that now. You are a Bitcoiner. Now that you've stacked sats, it's time to do a backup. Choose to save a backup to your Google Drive or manually write down your 12-word recovery phrase. So we're going to do kind of the traditional backup method first, and then I'll show you kind of the simplistic backup that they've done here. So a manual backup, it says advanced. It's kind of run-of-the-mill for existing Bitcoiners. We kind of know how this goes, whereas Google Drive is going to be simple, but I will kind of guide you the best way to do it. Okay, so let's choose manual first. So manual. Let's back up your recovery phrase. On the next page, after verifying your biometrics, you will be shown your 12-word recovery phrase. Write it down and store it safely. This is the key to your funds. Don't lose it. Do this in a private location, away from cameras and people. Do not take a screenshot or photo. It's tempting, but unsafe. Use pen and paper. They are very right here. Do not take pictures of it. You don't want to store this digitally in an unencrypted way. You want to have it safe. You want to have it away from prying eyes. You don't want other people to see this information. The 12 words that they're going to give us are literally the keys to your money. And if anybody gets a copy of them, they will also be able to unlock and spend your money. So I'm going to click I understand and next. Now at this point, it's asking me for a thumbprint on my phone. And then it shows me these words. Now, obviously, I'm showing these words to you in a video. The worst practice ever. I will be wiping this wallet and taking the money off of it after I am done. So don't do as I do, do as I say. Nonetheless, there are 12 words here. I would write these down physically, safely, and keep them somewhere where I will be able to access them again later. If at any point I delete my wallet from my phone or I lose my phone, whatever it is, I can read down the Wallet of Satoshi and use self-custody mode and recover my wallet with nothing more than these 12 words. Awesome. Let's go ahead and verify these words. I'm just going to write them down off screen really quick. After writing these down, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit next. And it scrambles them, and I have to tap the words in order that I wrote them down. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Once I tap them all in order and hit done, it gives me a check mark, and I've now actually backed up my wallet. So that is one way to back up your wallet. But let's just, again, take a quick look at, it says your wallet is backed up, but let's take a look at the Google Drive backup as an option. So if I click on that, it says, we will save a backup of your recovery data to Google Drive. Now, what I'm unfamiliar with is how they handle this data, but there is a little drop down that says advanced options. Encrypt with a password. It says Wallet of Satoshi will not store this password. If you lose or forget it, your funds will be gone forever. So here's the trade-off. When you upload data to Google Drive, if your Google Drive gets compromised, then somebody may find this file that is literally the keys to your money and get access to it and be able to spend your money. The way you add a wall in front of that person that may compromise your Google Drive is adding an encryption password. So what's the difference here? The difference is if you go to recover and you get that file from your Google Drive, you're now also going to need a password, which you're going to need to remember. You can write that down somewhere and keep it safe. That's fine too. So that's what you would need. But it's simple because at least the file is in your Google Drive. If you don't have the encryption password or you forget it, that file is useless and you cannot recover. So it gives you a bit of a wall as well. So the personal responsibility, if you add the password, it's more secure, but you could mess up and forget it. So you got to make sure you're going to remember it. On the other side of things, if you're like, I don't want to remember a password, well, that's okay. But just know that if Google Drive, if somebody gets in there, then they may be able to find this file and access your money in your Wallet of Satoshi. So you make the pick. Personally, I like the idea of encrypting it with a password. And so I'm going to show how to do that. So we've got sessions 1, 2, 3 with an exclamation point. I'll hit OK, and then we'll back it up to Google Drive. We'll agree. Continue. Okay, and now we have a Google Drive backup as well. So you have more or less kind of 3 variations of how to do it. You can write down your 12 words and keep them safe. That's it. If anything goes wrong, get your 12 words, you're good. You can back up to Google Drive regularly without a password. Okay, if you do that, you go to Google Drive, you get the file, you pull it back in, and you're good to go. Or for additional security, in case Google Drive gets compromised, upload to Google Drive, encrypted with a passphrase that you have set. In order to recover, grab the file and remember the passphrase, load it into Wallet of Satoshi, you have access again. You choose what is best for you. Now that we're here, we can send and receive as we please all the ways that I mentioned before. Let's just take a quick look. We do indeed have a different Lightning address, Balding Cooking 177. Man, some of these. If I hit edit, the same thresholds are there. They're reset. So 10 transactions in Lightning. We got a backup, which we already did. Send and receive on chain, 100,000 sats. And then you can choose your new address. So same thresholds as before. And that's basically it. So we can move our money over from the previous wallet if we want to. So let's try that. So let's say you're moving from custodial to self-custody. Let's hit receive. Let's copy our Lightning address, then get out of here. We'll hit the menu in the top right. And look, we can switch to Wallet of Satoshi custody. So switch back. And we're back to our old wallet. Now I can hit send. I can paste from the clipboard what I copied, my new Lightning address, and then I can send whatever I want. So let's send over, you could send over the full amount if you really wanted to, but in this case, maybe I'll send over 25,000 sats. Hit send, and off it should go. Okay, and I can add the contact if I want. Self-custody. Okay. All right. So now let's jump over to our self-custody wallet again and just see that money there. So switch to self-custody. Yes. And there we go. Payment was received, 25,000 sats. Let's take a look at the transaction. And once again, we didn't have any incurred fee or anything for receiving that at all. Now, when we go to receive on chain here, we still have this 1.95% fee. If we go to send, and I'll scan again a regular Bitcoin address. If I want to send the full amount, let's see what the fees look like. So a little bit different here. You're going to get the 2%, roughly 1.95% from Wallet of Satoshi still. But then you're just going to get the network fee on top of that instead of the fixed fee. So with regular on-chain Bitcoin payments, there's a fee that is associated with how busy is the network right now, how much data does your transaction take up, a variety of factors. With this, it is not a Wallet of Satoshi fee. The 1.95% is, but there's not an additional fixed fee. It's just whatever the network looks like at the time. So it does give me that high fee warning that, hey, and it's not nearly as bad as it was when we were testing the send before. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're sending all of this, and it would be 1,283 sats. Okay. So not as bad. And so the trade-off from self-custody to custodial, self-custody, you're going to have a cheaper on-chain interaction. You're still getting dinged with a 1.95% fee on the incoming and outgoing transaction. And then you would be paying the on-chain fee, which you would have to do anyways with regular Bitcoin. So that is how that works with the self-custody. Now, in terms of other trade-offs, limitations of self-custody, the only one thing that I've noticed here that's really different is if I go to the top right sandwich board and I look at this menu, there is no point of sale terminal option here. And I think this has to do with on the back end and how things are all connected, that it's difficult to create invoices for some reason in this mode. And so I don't know if that's something that can be easily technically overcome or will be rolled out later. But as it stands right now while making this video, there's no point of sale option here. If you really wanted to, you could use custodial for point of sale, and then you could send it over to your self-custody at regular intervals as that balance builds. So you have options, but just know that's not going to be here natively in Wallet of Satoshi self-custody. All right, so we're going to investigate how to recover your Wallet of Satoshi, both for custodial and non-custodial or self-custody modes. So what I'm done here is I've deleted Wallet of Satoshi, I downloaded it again, and I'm starting from scratch. So on the main screen, I'm going to hit start. And like we've seen before, it bumps you into a default wallet. If you're recovering, you don't want to do anything with this wallet. This wallet is some new randomly generated one you want to recover. So let's do the custodial one first. We're going to go up to the top right where there's the avatar, and we're going to hit login/register. So I'm going to type in the same email that I used prior. Now it says account link pending. Please check your email for further instructions. So I'm going to pull that up now. Now, without showing the email, it does say that there's an email here, link a new device to your Wallet of Satoshi. We received a request to link a new device to your Wallet of Satoshi. If this wasn't used, please ignore the email. To continue, please scan the below QR code with your new wallet or copy and paste the linking code into your app. So I'm provided with a QR code and a string of text. And so what I would do is I would hit send, and I'd say, while using the app, and either I would scan the QR code, since it's on a different device right now, I will be scanning it, or I would paste in the string of code if I was reading my email on the same device, and it would recognize it and sign you into your wallet. So I'm going to do that now. We'll jump ahead to me being logged in. Okay, there we go. It was a simple scan, and right away I'm logged in. I see the green check, and I have access to my money again. Now that covers custodial. What about non-custodial? Let's take a look. Let's go to self-custody. We'll go up to the top right, and we're going to say switch to self-custody. I understand, and switch. So it says create new or restore. We are going to restore. And so let's take a look. We have restore from Google Drive. Let's take a look at that first. So we'll go from Google Drive. We'll hit next. We'll choose the account that I used. It's looking for the file. And then it says enter your password. And if I remember it correctly, let's hope so. Make sure I'm typing it. Okay, I think that's right. Let's hit OK. Recovery complete. Happy Bitcoining. And there we go. We have access to our 25,000 sats. Again, now keep in mind, if I didn't have a passphrase added to it, it would just find the file and I'd be off to the races right away. But this added an extra layer of security. Now, let me see if I can delete all local data. Let's do that again, the manual way. So now we're going to hit restore existing wallet again. This time we're going to restore it manually. And this allows me to type in my 12-word recovery phrase. Note that they have scrambled the order. So you're going to have to look and fill them in appropriately as you've written them down, but make sure that you use the scrambled order as opposed to starting here from 1. This is actually number 4, number 3, number 6, number 1. So just make sure you pay attention to the numbers there. So I'm going to do that and we'll jump ahead. With my 12 words put in, I'm going to hit next, restoring, and again, recovery complete. And here's our 25,000 sats, again, available. So 2 different ways to recover, through Google Drive or via your 12-word seed phrase. So let's talk about the self-custody portion of Wallets of Satoshi and what's actually going on in the background technically, because it is quite different from other self-custody Lightning wallet options out there. Now, the interesting thing about Wallet of Satoshi is you're actually not setting up Lightning channels yourself, and you don't need to do so in order to transact, which makes it very seamless. Yes, you can just immediately start it up, move to self-custody mode, and receive a Lightning transaction right away. And you didn't really have to do anything in there. You didn't have to create a Lightning channel. So what is happening? And the answer to that is that you're not really on Lightning. You are actually in the back end using something called Spark, which is a layer 2 protocol put together by Lightspark. And Lightspark is spearheaded by David Marcus, formerly of Facebook. The long and the short of Spark, the protocol, is that in the background it's using something called state chains. And this allows people to have partial ownership of an underlying Bitcoin UTXO, or just a piece of Bitcoin. The transactions themselves, when using exclusively on Spark, are actually a transference of key material, giving different people control over certain pieces of Bitcoin. And because you're transferring key material and not doing on-chain transactions, you don't see fees happening, and it's cheap and fast and efficient. It is done in a way cryptographically, where when you transact with somebody and you're sending key material, you no longer retain the ability to spend after you've sent that. So it derives some new information and invalidates your old information. So you no longer have valid keys for the coins that you've spent on this Spark Layer 2. It can also interoperate with Lightning. From what I've looked up, my understanding is that you'd have somebody running a Lightning node and they'd be willing to kind of do atomic swaps between Lightning funds and Spark. Similar to how something like Fedimint might work with their Lightning gateways, if you're familiar with that. But the idea, somebody is using the Lightning infrastructure and maintaining that themselves. And the reason they would be swapping between Lightning and Spark is they can have some fees in that process. So what are the trade-offs here? Well, the trade-offs, you're going to have some reliance on the Spark servers. Anybody can be a Spark server, but again, in this instance, using Wallet of Satoshi, you have some reliance that those cheap, quick transactions, they go through because of the servers in question. There is an operator, a Spark operator, that is ensuring those off-chain key material transactions can take place and seeing whose keys are valid and invalid based on how they spend. However, if you want to exit at any point, if an operator is being finicky or is for whatever reason you want to claim the on-chain Bitcoin, there is a pathway to do that. Spark is built in such a way where you are meant to be able to unilaterally exit without the permission or signing of anybody else. However, the tools are not super accessible to do that. If you looked in Wallet of Satoshi at the time of this video, there wasn't really like a, hey, let me exit button there. It's just kind of reliant on the infrastructure working as intended. But if you do have the technical chops, I suppose you'd be able to take your key material and go and figure that out. But in the future, and what we've seen teased from Lightspark is that these tools are going to get better and better over time and give you an easier path to do so. So when taking this into account, that's how you should consider how much money you're willing to put into this type of wallet. And just to kind of lay out a spectrum here, with one side being fully custodial, where you have no control, and one side being full self-custody with on-chain Bitcoin that you solely hold the keys to. This falls somewhere in that middle gray area where, yes, you have a pretty good degree of control, there is minimal risk, but still some. You could have operators start to act in ways that can cause problems. But you have that unilateral exit. And so, once those tools are more fleshed out and easier for the average person to use, then you've got a nice pathway to be able to exit the system if you see fit. So again, based on those factors and the current state of the technology, that's how you would maybe think about allocating funds. This is a hot wallet after all, no matter what. It is on your phone. And as a general practice, you shouldn't have more Bitcoin on your phone than you'd be comfortable as cash in your pocket. So you wouldn't be allocating large amounts of money to Wallet of Satoshi, custodial or not. So either way, I think this is a positive move. I think it gives a pathway for people to move from custodial to, we'll say, a higher degree of self-custody, somewhere in that gray area, pretty seamlessly, being able to create an interface within the exact same application, and then potentially move from there to cold storage if their balance builds enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please do like, subscribe, share. If you need some additional help in your learning journey, of course, check out the tutorials listed down below as it pertains to the wallet we worked with today, but also head over to btcsessions.ca/learn, where you'll find beginner, intermediate, and advanced videos to level up your Bitcoin skills, as well as deep dives with playlists. And if you need one-on-one hand-holding, head over to my expert team at bitcoinmentor.io at the bottom of the page. You can book one-on-one sessions to make sure that your setup is rock solid. With that, I'm out. Have a wonderful day. Keep stacking sats, but also keep stacking skills. I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions. This was your daily session.